Okay, I'm sitting and talking to Paul Currier, and Paul's it's Monday, August 16th, 2010. We're sitting in San Francisco, outside of
the Celtic Cafe.
Yeah. On what street is this?
We're on McAllister
on
Street, right across from the 50 United Nations Plaza.
Thank you. Okay, now, yesterday and the day before, Paul and I attended a community congress in San Francisco.
That's true.
Can you tell us where it was and what time, etc.?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Yeah, my name is Paul Currier, and
I'm Carol Harvey, by the way.
And Carol and I attended this conference. There were a number of, it was 250 people, citizen activists that attended the San Francisco Community Congress. And we attended on Saturday, August 14th and Sunday, August 15th, 2010. This is extremely important. The Congress was convened by concerned citizen activists of San Francisco who had been working in some of the various local areas of our local concern. One of them is economic development. We're in the middle of a depression, and there's a number of us that we believe that we can turn San Francisco around and turn our state around, but mostly deal with it responsibly in our own community. So economic development, affordable housing, muni, and our transportation in San Francisco, and then finally our health and human services. Those are the four areas that we address. The working groups had been meeting for the last 6 months to maybe a year, and they were groups of people that were paying attention to their specific interest areas. And a gentleman, Calvin, who had one of the organizers of this first San Francisco Community Congress from 1975.
His name is Calvin Welch.
Yeah,
he's been an activist for a long time.
Calvin Welch was teaching for 13 years at San Francisco State and will start teaching at the University of San Francisco. So we held the event at the University of San Francisco campus, and
in the Fromm building.
In the Fromm building, and if people don't know who Eric Fromm is, he is one of the philosophers and a good friend of Harry Bridges and one of the organizers of the ILW. So anyway, we're at the Fromm.
He's a fantastic psychologist.
And we were there, and at this event, and the event. We haven't had one of these since 1975, and in 1975, the San Francisco Community Congress, the Citizens Congress, drafted a platform that became the platform of the George Moscone administration, and this was a transitional administration. It was very, very critical in the history of San Francisco. There's a reason that Harvey Milk and George Moscone were both assassinated, and a lot of it has to do with trying to keep people from their power and from their power base that we all have locally, no matter what city that you're in. Maybe you're part of the Citizens Congress groups in Los Angeles or Washington, D.C., or some of the other communities around America where local grassroots activists are doing this work and people are not paying attention. So let's help to get the word out. And this Congress, our whole platform that was hammered out very, very thoughtfully will be published online, and I intend to use it. I'm running for the mayor of San Francisco as a grassroots candidate in 2011, and we're intending to organize the city for the first time. I talked with Calvin about this. He seems to think that the city was organized a few other times since 1934, but my personal opinion is the last time we organized San Francisco was 1934.
You mean grassroots
organized.
Congress type?
I mean, really organized. A lot of people were not aware of the fact that when the unions and the general strike took place, and it was called for here in San Francisco by the maritime unions, that injury to one is an injury to all. That concept is critical, and there was no welfare, there was no food stamps, there was no social safety net, so the unions had to set up their own soup kitchens, and they had to make sure people got their bills and their rent paid so they didn't get evicted and stuff like that. So that type of organizing for our own community needs is something we've done before, and I'm really excited about the idea of setting up a San Francisco municipal bank.
I am too.
So that we can
great idea.
That idea, and we can get a $500 million from the city to start with, and there's some other grubstake money if we had all the rent deposits for the 340,000 rental units. That would, if it's just $1,000 rental deposit on every apartment that gets rented in San Francisco was deposited in the bank, that's another $340 million, and it would be easy for people that are renters to get their deposits back because the landlords couldn't just confiscate them without court action.
Let's try another video and you can talk about some of the other things that we decided. That bank idea, municipal bank idea, was a great idea. So let's do another one. We're tune in for part 2 on YouTube, folks.